everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the most important aspect of teacher preparation, that is content analysis. For this, a teacher should know master plan, which includes objectives, the method and the content to be covered by the teacher. To do this, teacher has to do content analysis. So, after the completion of the module, you will be able to explain the concept of content analysis, explain the need and importance of content analysis, describe the process of content analysis. You will be also able to analyze the subject matter as subject content here as into facts, concepts, principles, laws, theory and generalization. You will also be able to study the representation of the subject matter into different formats. You will be able to explain the concept map. You will also be able to apply the concept map for effective teaching learning process. Now, let us understand what exactly is a content analysis. Scientists acquire the empirical knowledge and construct theories and formulate generalizations, fundamental concepts and derive laws and principles. And this body of knowledge is nothing but content analysis. It is the method of analysis of the subject matter into facts, concept, principle, law, theory and generalization. Content analysis helps the teacher to categorize the subject matter for better classroom transaction. Every subject teacher has to do content analysis before writing a lesson plan for clear understanding of different concepts. Content analysis needs to be done by selecting any unit of a textbook and categorize the content into again the facts, concepts, laws, principles, theories and generalization. Now, let us understand all of these in detail by giving different examples for each one of them. What exactly is a fact? Fact is observation about the world around us. It is objective and verifiable observation which is same everywhere around the world. For example, angiosperms are flowering plants. So, all the flowering plants around the world are called as angiosperms. What exactly is a concept? Concept is a general notion. It is an abstract idea which is formed by combining all the essential characteristics. For example, a table. A table has 4 legs, a base or a platform. There can be number of tables. For example, there can be a writing table, there can be a dining table, there can be numerous other kinds of office tables, but if they all of them fulfill the essential characteristics, it qualifies to be called as table, and that in itself is a concept for a table. Similarly, there are number of other examples of concept like a cell, heart, microscope, planet, but they all will have certain essential characteristics which they will fulfill to be called as a concept. Now, let us understand what is a law. Law is a proven observation and are usually universal principle that describes the fundamental nature of something, the universal properties and the relationship between things, or a description that purports to explain these principles and relationships. They are the descriptions of a phenomena occurring in the nature. It does not explain the result or the reasons why such phenomenon occurs. It merely makes things clearer by verbal or mathematical statements of a relation so that the science of it is easy to understand. For example, Henry's law in thermodynamics, Newton's law of universal gravitation, Hubble's law. Now, let us take up another one, that is principle. What exactly is a principle? It is nothing but a statement about the behavior of an aspect of nature which is invariable under the same condition. It states a relationship between two or more concepts, objects or events. For example, the Archimedes principle, which is a well known principle now. What exactly a theory is? An attempt to explain the phenomenon occurring in nature through number of empirical evidences and observations. These are the coherent explanations for large set of facts, observations about the natural world. A well substantiated explanation acquired through the scientific method and repeatedly tested and confirmed through observation and experimentation. It is still a learning or discovering process before arriving to the conclusion. It is a structure of concepts that explains existing facts, predicting new ones. They qualify to be called as scientific theory if they satisfy the criterion such as empirical criteria, logical criteria and even sociological and historical criterion. Scientific theories need facts in order for it to be interpreted and become a theory. For example, let us take into the examples of number of theories. The theory of relativity. Another example given by Darwin is the theory of evolution by natural selection. Another popular theory is the Big Bang theory. Let us look into what exactly are the generalizations. We all formulate number of generalization based on observations. Let us see when we are doing content analysis, what exactly are the generalizations. Generalizations are the summarized statements regarding a relation of two or more concepts. They help in consolidation of information. Laws, theories and principles are all generalization. There is a cause and effect relationship. For example, all the plants are containing chlorophyll, and if they contain a chlorophyll, then they are called as autotrophs, as they are able to produce their own food. So, we see all the plants that around us which are having green color, and that green color is due to the pigment chlorophyll, and automatically all these plants are called as autotrophs. So, these are the examples for different facts, concepts, principles, laws, theories that as a teacher you have to do the content analysis before going on to the objectives or writing a lesson plan. Hello, we have already discussed about the content analysis earlier, and once the content analysis is complete, then one has to organize the content in the form of concept map for better understanding. So, let us now discuss what exactly is a concept map. The concept map represents an understanding of the relationship and hierarchy between important set of concepts. In a concept map, concepts are usually presented enclosed within a circle or a box. The first and foremost step is to identify and enlist various key concepts in the chosen content for transaction, like we have already done it for the content analysis. These concepts which are already identified are then arranged in a two-dimensional array hierarchically in descending order. That is, the most general concepts are placed at the top, followed by the less inclusive concepts. Concepts occurring at same level of observation are placed at the same horizontal level. Once this is done, then the concept maps are to be interlinked, for which we use linkages, and they are usually represented by arrows or lines. These lines are the interlinks which interlink the two concepts appropriately, and these interlinks are labeled using linking words, are also called as labels for linkages or proposition. The label for most linkages is a word or words or a phrase, although sometimes we use symbols in mathematics. Labels highlight the relationship between two concepts. These labels are interlinking two or more concepts and they are cross linked if significant relationship exists between them. Thus, we observe that concepts in a concept map are not isolated, they are collection of the concepts. They are interconnected together through well labeled linkages. Cross links are particularly powerful connections which form a web of relevant and interrelated concepts. These links enhance the anchorage and stability in the cognitive structure of concepts rather than just connecting general concepts to specific. They tend to connect different conceptual structures and subconceptual structures. There is no limit on the number of connecting lines. As a matter of fact, greater the number of connecting lines, it represents integrative thinking and depth of knowledge of the learner. Now, let us look into an example of a concept map which is being described here. Concept map that is shown below. So, you can see the concept map, there are arrows or lines which are linkages, and we can also see there are words or the linking words that are describing the relationship between the two concepts. For example, we can see here that respiration in organisms is interlinked to respiration in plants, which comprises of different small pores and roots. Similarly, there is the interlinking of respiration in organism to cellular respiration and breathing in human beings. There is also breathing in other organisms. So, this forms a web of concept map which is shown below. Now, we have seen sampler for concept map in biology. Similarly, my colleagues Dr. T.V. Somsekhar, Dr. Paramita Shastri and Jyoti Trivedi will be discussing examples of content analysis in mathematics, English and chemistry, and they will deal with the different examples in these subjects.
Student, you are already knowing about how to do content analysis in different subjects. Now, let us see how do we do content analysis in mathematics. And therefore, a student teacher has to analyze the content so that he is able to categorize the content into respective categories. And this analysis will also help him to give a requisite kind of examples that are relevant to a chosen content delivery. So, for analyzing the content, so usually we refer to the textbooks. So, here as an example, so I have got 9th standard mathematics textbook. There are 18 chapters. So, the student teacher may teach every chapter when he is inducted into a regular system, or he may ask to teach any one of the particular unit or a chapter during his internship activity. So, before commencement of doing the teaching activity, so it is a must for a student teacher to do the content analysis. This enables the student teacher to write the unit plan. So, therefore, content analysis is a primemost prerequisite activity for writing unit plan and lesson plan. As you know that mathematics is filled with abstract content. So, as a student teacher, so when we analyze the content, so our main task is to see how the abstractness that has been filled in the knowledge area is reduced to concrete form by giving appropriate examples, also non-examples and counter examples in the related area. So, how do we go about it? So, let us see the 9th standard textbook and try to see how things have been done. Table of content of lessons that are there. So, you can see under each heading there are subheadings also written in the content column. So, it indicates that how the unit chapter or the chapter is divided into sub chapters. For example, If you take the chapter 7 which talks about congruence of triangles. So, in this you can see it as the unit has been divided into 7 subunits. So, here if you go to the corresponding pages of the text, you can see that in this page the content is given and headings are being listed out in a different color fonts. So, you can consider the titles which have been indicated as your teaching points, major teaching points or a major concept or a major procedure that you need to deal in the classroom conditions. So, in the same way, if any conceptual ideas are presented, is it a concept, major concept? Does it have any sub concept built into that, and how these are interrelated? All these analysis a student teacher has to do in the mathematics content analysis. So, therefore, the student teacher has to study the content in depth. So, while carrying out this in depth analysis of the content, he is in a position to categorize the knowledge, he is in a position to design varieties of learning activities in relation to the given content area. He can also design the kind of learning experiences he is intended to provide to the learners, can also be visualized. He can also visualize the kind of examples, non-examples and counter examples that he can give for a given concept or idea can be visualized, and he can also visualize the kind of assessment he wants to do, whether it can be oral assessment or a written assessment or a performance based assessment can also be visualized while doing content analysis. So, it is from all these perspectives one has to carry out the content analysis in mathematics.
Welcome to this session. This presentation is going to discuss content analysis. At the end of the session, you will have a brief knowledge about how to analyze content in teaching of English. Content analysis helps the teacher to categorize the teaching content for better classroom transaction. In teaching of English, content analysis aids in categorizing the teaching learning components like prose, poetry, drama, short story, etc. into units that can help in enhancing different language skills and competencies. Why is it important to do a content analysis before making a detailed unit plan in teaching English? Planning happens much before the teacher goes to the class. It is concerned with the what, why, how, when and where of teaching. In teaching a language, the focus is mainly on enhancing different skills like the LSRW skills, grammar and vocabulary, comprehension, communication skills, study skills at a lower level, as well as analytical skills and literary skills at a higher level. All the texts that are prescribed in a language course might not be suitable for enhancing all the skills mentioned. Each text might be unique in helping to enhance some of the skills. While analyzing a content or the syllabus, an English teacher has to categorize all the texts according to different skills that each can be used to enhance. In the chart that is given to us here, the content is analyzed according to the chapters as well as different skills that it can help to enhance. For example, here the texts are categorized according to themes. The first theme is my world, the second nature and the third one celebration. In the theme my world, there are 3 texts: Pinky packs her picnic basket, the table, a full moon night. Each of these texts can help in enhancing certain skills. For example, Pinky packs her picnic basket, it's a story. For reading comprehension, at the end of the story, multiple choice questions, picture comprehension, etc. can be asked. To enhance vocabulary, they can be fill in the blanks with names of food items. Under grammar, nouns, both proper nouns and common nouns can be learned. For pronunciation skills, the story is suitable for revising long and short vowels that the students would have learnt earlier. For listening and speaking, choosing the correct picture and speaking about it could be an activity. For writing skills, completing a recipe could be an activity for enhancing writing skills. So, each of these texts are analyzed in such a way that it becomes clear which of the skill enhancement components are suitable for these texts. The texts in a syllabus might sometimes be divided according to themes, but in some textbooks they are not. While analyzing content, a thematic categorization helps in bringing variety by avoiding using texts with similar themes all in a series. In this way, classroom transaction can be made more interesting.
In this segment of the module, let us see content analysis in context of a science lesson. Let us take for sample content analysis of chapter 3 Atoms and Molecules from class 9 of NCERT science textbook. The first step in content analysis is to see the flow of the content. This unit deals with the following topics. The second part deals with finding the essence of learning. The lesson aptly narrates historical, that is philosophical descriptions of atom leading to development of empirical evidences of laws of chemical combination, and thus a reason to perceive atoms as in Dalton's theory. What connections is this lesson trying to build in context of this unit? The laws should be taught in class as gradually generalized laws. For doing this, the teacher may provide data and ask students to generalize the ratio of elements found in chemical analysis and then state the law. Application of laws can be verified by deducing from the laws, that is inducto-deductive method. Once necessary background to hint the presence of atoms is provided, teacher may ask students to justify why the laws operate. The concepts are interlinked in order as: once the concept of atom is clear to students, it can be used to understand as follows: symbols, atomic mass, atomic valency, leading to molecule, molecular formula, molecular mass, and finally mole. Therefore, teacher needs to ensure that each preceding concept has been understood with all its essential attributes, with enough examples and non-examples. A teacher needs to therefore draw a concept map with valid interlinking before proceeding to further analysis. The next step is to classify the content into different forms, that is facts, concepts, generalizations and theories. As we can see, hypothesis needs to bring a learning outcome of predict, laws can be described, applied or deduced, theories explained, justified or related, principles relating the concept, concepts which need to be described or defined, definitions which can be defined or create definition, facts which can be stated, observations to be stated or observed. As we classify the content into facts, laws, rules and theories, we come across few important learning points which are significant but do not belong to any of the above categories. These can be marked as major learning points. The learning points, for example, Democritus, Leucippus and Maharshi Kanad made philosophical considerations about forms of matter, that is indivisible particles of matter. Atomos in Greek philosophy and Parmanu in Indian philosophy. Note, this is a historical fact but not a scientific fact. Teacher needs to make connections to previous unit about particles of matter and describe how Democritus perceived atoms of cheese to be cheesy and iron to be held tight by hooks. Indian philosopher Pakudha Katyayama elaborated saying these particles normally exist in combined form to form different forms of matter. This gives us an early concept of molecules. The next category is facts. How do you identify content as scientific facts? If students need to remember it as essential information to build further concepts, we mark them as facts. Sometimes you may reach the same content as fact or concept to students depending upon the depth of content being considered. For example, at this stage we might introduce Avogadro's number as fact, that is 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 is Avogadro's number or Avogadro's constant, while we might build the concept of Avogadro's number while explaining Avogadro's law. In this unit, we identify sizes of various objects, their relative measures as facts. Concepts, those information which needs students to build a thorough understanding of relationship between information, that is its essential attributes, are categorized as concepts. You may build concepts by giving sufficient examples and non-examples along with their essential attributes. Their understanding can be verified by students giving various examples and non-examples. Concepts dealt in this unit is mole. Mole is a unit used for conversion of mass to number of particles in chemical reactions. It is a collection of Avogadro number of particles. It is an SI unit. A mole is the amount of substance which has particles as many as that they are present in 12 grams of carbon 12 isotope. Rule. Next concept is rule. A rule is a generalization which can be built inductively. For example, in this unit we have intervalence rule. The following points need to be considered in intervalence rule. Note, this part is well suited to be carried out by concept attainment model, where teachers might give few example and non-examples to build the concept and later check its application in the later phase of concept attainment model. Next category is laws. The law of definite proportions. In a chemical substance, the elements are always present in definite proportions by mass. That means in a pure chemical compound, irrespective of its source or origin, elements are always present in definite proportion by mass. The laws in this unit can be generated by giving data sheets and asking students to state the laws observed as patterns in behavior of chemicals. Teacher may sufficiently scaffold the concepts needed and provide hints depending on the nature of students. Next category, theory. This chapter deals with Dalton's atomic theory. The postulates given as all the matter is made up of very tiny particles called atoms. Atoms are indivisible particles which cannot be created or destroyed in chemical reaction. Atoms of different elements have different masses and chemical properties. Atoms combine in a ratio of small whole numbers to form compounds. The relative number and kinds of atom are constant in a given compound. Remember, to connect the laws of chemical combination validly to Dalton's atomic theory, you may add questions like which postulate of Dalton's atomic theory is based on the law of constant proportion. You may scaffold with analogy. Hope this brief illustration will help you to do content analysis of various units in science. Happy learning.
So friends, today in this model we have already discussed about content analysis, concept mapping, and how this content analysis and concept mapping is done in different subject areas like mathematics, science and English. Hope you have enjoyed this module and it is going to be of great use to you people. Thank you.